What is ICCS and what were we doing there?
Essentially, it's a course which it tries to get students to learn about intercultural competences through a perspective of looking at science. University Innovation Fellows, or UIF. It's a program for students who want to make an impact at their university. So this again, it started in Stanford, and the University of Twente was the first European university to have, or one of the first to have, a cohort. I don't drink alcohol or anything. I guess that's a big factor. Like, that also means, like, if I go out the night before, I will sleep 4 or 5 hours, and then I can be up the next day already working, and I won't have a hangover.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacob and this is UT Journeys. Amazing series when we sit with inspiring students to talk about their lives, motivation, and most importantly, how you can enhance your study journey. In today's episode, we'll talk with Soham Nanwani, third-year creative technology student from Spain, who won second place at More Than a Degree Award for an Active Student of the Year, graduated honors program in Entrepreneurship, participated in University Innovation Fellows, working as a junior student assistant for Intercultural Competences micromodule, and many more that you will hear in the second. Enjoy. Soham, thank you a lot for coming. Let's get to the first question. How is it to be the group of 3 most active students of the year?
I think it's obviously exciting. I think throughout my time at uni, I have made an effort to be active, because I always thought it was a good opportunity to get new experiences, meet new people, and just learn more about not only how the university works on an academic level, right, but also on a broader scale. And yeah, I mean, I think it feels good, but at the same time, I'm active because I like to do it, not because I'm seeking any recognition, any reward. This being in the top 3 is obviously a great honor, and I wear it with pride, but it's not anything I'm purposely seeking out to achieve in that sense.
Yeah, I remember seeing you there and I was like, damn, I know this guy. Really good. And what is ICCS and what were we doing there?
So ICCS, it's a micro module which essentially it's an online micro module also hosted by ECIU, which is the European Consortium of Innovative Universities, and it started at the UT by a student from the honors program, and essentially it's a course which essentially tries to get students to learn about intercultural competences through a perspective of looking at science, of just citizens and the projects that can be done in your day-to-day life, essentially in a city. And essentially the whole process of it in the course, it's 2 ECs, and it's fully online. So we have students from a set of different universities, including Barcelona, Toulouse. We also have some from Hamburg, Trento as well in Italy. And they all follow this course for 10 weeks. And then at the end, they have an option to get an extra EC by joining our mobility week, which we're going to be going to next week, and on the 12th of February. We're going to Toulouse to host this mobility week, and essentially the students will be able who follow the course can meet up and essentially put into practice what they have learned throughout the 10 weeks. So it's a process of obviously throughout the 10 weeks, they've been learning how to communicate interculturally with different groups of students in different universities, different time zones. And obviously that is one perspective of trying to work through it online. But we also want to give them the opportunity to actually put it in practice in person. So when they go there, they also get that opportunity to practice, reflect, and maybe even meet the people they were working with who they'd previously just known online. So now there's extra element of, oh, now I actually know who you are. I can put a face to this person I've been having conversations with and stuff.
Nice. And so this is something that people, that students are doing on top of their modules. Normal modules.
So it is an extracurricular course. As I said, it's 2 ECs. And yeah, like there are one of the teachers in Toulouse actually. She actually has put it like a mandatory part of students' course in France. So students are using that as part of their curriculum. So that's a very interesting thing to see, that it's actually being applied not just as an extracurricular, but in principle it is, for UT students at least, it's fully extracurricular.
Nice. And who can apply there and how?
So the application process is, just anyone can apply, to be honest. Even if you don't study at one of the partner universities of the ECIU, you can sign up by the ECIU website. But looking at the UT, anyone can also just apply. It's the same procedure. You can go to the ICCS website, or you can look it up at the ECIU website and sign up. Currently the 3rd run is ongoing. It's about to finish. This week we finished the regular component, and next week we have the mobility. So then we hope that next November we can launch a 4th run, considering that this run up until now has been pretty successful. So we hope next year we can also find a set of motivated students to partake in the course again.
Yeah, so there needs to be motivated students, but also for whom would you recommend it? Everyone or someone in particular, some students in particular?
That's a good question. I think everyone can benefit from learning intercultural skills, right? I think in today's day and age, where we work in such diverse communities, it's important to learn how to deal with complex situations of, this person from this culture has this behavior, how can I deal with it, for instance? So I definitely think everyone can benefit from it, but at the same time I recognize that not everyone might feel motivated to do it, because I feel like many times people might think they already know how to do it, but I think there's always a lot to learn, because in my opinion, one of the best ways to learn is from experience and getting to talk to people who've had similar experiences, right? So the nice thing about this course is, since you have so many diverse backgrounds and we make an effort to have students with diverse backgrounds to be in the same group, you're bound to have some issues due to your cultural differences. So being put in a situation where you have to tackle that, I feel like that's one of the best points to learn. So I think, it's not for everyone, I recognize that, but in an ideal case, everyone would be like, I want to follow this, I want to learn about this, because I recognize that it's important to be able to communicate effectively with my group, with my work colleagues, or just anyone you interact with in general.
And what problems did you have, for example? Do you remember any problems that you had because of the cultural differences?
So I actually, before becoming a junior educational developer for the course, I followed the course. And I definitely felt that I, with the group I was with, we definitely had some issues. One of the biggest issues I would say was when to meet, for instance, because obviously it was online, and having students that were, we had some students in Norway, some students in Spain, so, and I was in the Netherlands, right? So I would finish class at 5:30, whereas students in Norway say they would finish, say, at 7 or something, and students in Spain would maybe finish at 3. So obviously, yeah, that was one of the biggest issues of when is everyone available to have a meeting? Because of course you also have to take into consideration when people have their meals, when they go do their extracurricular activities like sports and stuff. And that was definitely one of the biggest issues which I would say our group faced in that sense.
Okay, I understand. And for example, when right now in the Netherlands, we are also pretty much in multinational and multicultural environment. How do you think it is different from the course that you are taking? Are you getting additional insights into it? Because we got some kind of the academic skills, academic skills content in it, but what is the difference there?
I feel like the biggest difference is, of course, one is in a more controlled scenario and the other one isn't, right? So with the course, you know, you're kind of expected to look out for these differences and to learn from them, whereas in the Netherlands, when you're just living your day-to-day life, you probably aren't going to be thinking, oh, I was speaking with this person from a different culture, how could I have done it differently, right? Like if you go to buy coffee and the person is, say, from China or whatever, you might not think of, oh, maybe culturally they have a different way of doing this or doing that, right? But if I'm following a course specifically focused on that, I will dedicate more time to keep an eye out on that. So I think that's the biggest difference.
Really interesting. We'll put website for signing up for it in the description for everyone who would be interested.
Yeah, definitely. I think ICCS is a really interesting course, but just in the ECIU website, they offer a bunch of different courses which you can follow. I definitely recommend to give them a look because they have a wide range of topics, of courses which you can follow completely free. And yeah, like nice side thing is that they also provide credit. So if that's something which could interest you, then I think students should definitely go ahead and give it a look and see if it interests them.
Can you also tell what is design thinking process?
Okay, yeah, that's so. Yeah, design thinking. It's a design process essentially developed in Stanford, I believe. And it's a process where it's a cyclical process where essentially you are going through all the stages of coming up with an idea, brainstorming, developing requirements, developing a quick prototype, testing, and then reiterating. So it's a process that you can use in many different aspects of when you're working on a project, when you want to design something, whatever really, you can apply that design thinking methodology because I feel like it allows you to it allows you to get a set of new ideas, test them out without being afraid of failing. And through this process of quick prototypes, rapid testing. You get a very good idea of what is working, what is not working, and at the same time you get to see what your user or your target audience is looking for. So, yeah.
Nice. And when did you learn it?
So I first learned about the design thinking process after joining the University Innovation Fellows program. It's University Innovation Fellows, or UIF. It's how could I describe this? It's a program for students who want to make an impact at the university. So this again, it started in Stanford, and the University of Twente was the first European university to have, or one of the first to have, a cohort of UIF fellows. And the idea is every year a set of around 7 to 8 students get selected to become fellows of this program. And once they're selected, they go through a whole 6 to 7 week training program, which teaches students about design thinking. So I learned about it after applying to UIF and getting accepted. And then my training to become an official fellow and part of the UIF family was learning about this whole process and coming up with essentially projects and ideas of projects which we would like to do that are going to have an impact on our university campus.
And what projects?
So, within our cohort, we had multiple ideas. One of the main ideas I focused on with a couple of the fellows, I think I can name drop them, Peter and Olga, was Ubuntu. Essentially, we wanted to try and make the students on campus more happy, make them just feel better about themselves and everything. And we did that by having like several pop-ups throughout the year. So in Christmas, we gave out Christmas cards and free snacks for students. So we wanted them to essentially just write nice messages to their friends, their family, or whatever, you know. And we did a similar thing for Valentine's Day, where we handed out Valentine's Day cards, which students could then just write a message and give it to someone, whoever they wanted to. And yeah, that was the main project I worked on with those two fellows. But then throughout, within the cohort, we also had a couple ideas such as Snooze, which was our sleeping capsules. So it's got a green light already. So soon sleeping capsules will be arriving to campus. That's actually really good to hear. And essentially we realized that students, if they've been studying the whole day at uni, they might need a space to disconnect for a bit. And especially if you live in the city center, or essentially not on campus, it's very hard, if not impossible, to find a place where you can just disconnect and even if it's just for 20 minutes, you know, it's really hard to do so. So that's why we thought sleeping capsules could be a very interesting project, and that is also going. And then, yeah, looking more at UIF on the whole, looking at the other cohorts and other running projects. One of the big ones was keeping talent in Twente. So essentially, 3-4 years back, the fellows realized that many of the students, once they finished their studies, they would just leave Twente. And of course, it doesn't really, it kind of defeats the point, right? You want students to stay and to, because at the end of the day, Kenneth Park is right across the road. There are so many great companies, so many innovative companies. You would like them to stay, right? So with this project, they essentially wanted to try and promote students to stay in into it after finishing their studies.
And have you been choosing the projects yourself and coming up with everything yourself?
Yeah, so we came up with these projects all ourselves, and the way we essentially came up with them was through using this design thinking process, right? Because one of the first essential steps in the design thinking process is finding the problem, right? So it's essentially, the problem for us is, what issue on campus is there that we want to tackle? And from there, we have a bunch of brainstorming ideas where we have sessions where we use different methodologies to brainstorm, and we try to come up with what problems we can see on campus right now. And through that is when we come up with projects with problems we would like to tackle, and then eventually these lead to potential solutions, which are the projects which we are working on.
Nice. And as outside of that, have you been implementing design thinking in other areas of your life right now?
I will say within my study, creative technology, we use the creative technology methodology, which I think is very similar to the design thinking methodology. So I think in that sense, I definitely use it. And I think even I don't use it explicitly in other facets of my day-to-day life, say, but I will say design thinking has helped me come up with different ideas and be more open to try new things. And if it doesn't work, well, that's the whole point, you know? You're there to try something out. If it doesn't work, you try again by learning what went wrong the first time. So I think in that sense, yeah, design thinking, I've used it in a more subconscious way throughout my day-to-day life, other projects and stuff.
Great. And because this is also something that students are doing on top of their studies.
Yeah.
So what is additional time allocation that you need for that?
So the nice thing of UIF is you can really choose how much time you want to put into it. So except for the initial phase, which is the training, which is offered online by Stanford, which is usually done around the month of September and October, which are 7-8 weeks. Those are the only times where you're kind of forced to complete the required trainings and stuff. After that, once you've completed the training, you are completely free to do or put in how much ever work you want to put in, right? Because with UIF, we have this thing of once a fellow, always a fellow. So you can really just choose how much time you want to put in, what projects you want to work on, and just say that, like, we have fellows that they might not be studying here anymore, but whenever they can, if they happen to be back in Enschede or back at the UT for a few days, they will hop into the meeting, they will help out, and yeah, I feel like that's something which is very nice. You aren't not being restricted to, I know I have to do these amount of hours. I've got the freedom to choose that, this quarter, for instance, I'm very busy, I'm not going to be there that often, but next quarter, if I'm more free, I am free to join, to help out and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of freedom.
And again, for whom would you recommend it, and how people can get into it?
So who I would recommend it to, I think anyone who wants to make a lasting impact on campus. I think if you're a student, you've probably seen, if you've been here for, I would say, probably around 6 months or over a year already, you've probably seen or realized something which you do not like or you would like to improve at the university, because of course it's not perfect, and that I think everyone can recognize. So I think anyone who wants to make an impact and who believes that they can make an impact, they can apply. I will just confirm the website, but we do currently have the applications open. I assume we can link it in the bottom. But yeah, the applications are now open. I think if you apply, I think it's a great opportunity. And if you get in, it's also a great opportunity not only to learn about design thinking, because it's a very useful process to have in your toolkit, but just the people you meet. Not only fellows, which you meet, even just external parties, right? Because one of the big things which we always try to do is have an impact on campus, which requires talking to the different departments on campus. So you get to learn a lot of how the university works, who are the important people, who you should reach out to, and I think it provides you a really useful perspective into, I am attending this university, this is how it's actually run, this is what's going on behind the scenes, Because I feel like many times we take that for granted, where just you go with the flow, you let it go, but seeing the amount of work and the amount of departments there are, it's interesting to see that there's so much going on, and it's all interconnected, it's all intertwined, and so definitely anyone who wants to make an impact, just make sure to apply. And
nice. And do you have any tips how to get into, or
tips?
Is it hard?
I mean, it's really just you have to be motivated, right? We don't look at grades. That's like I can make that really clear. Grades are not important for us. We're essentially looking for students that are motivated to make an impact on campus, that are, of course, willing and want to work in a diverse community. We think that's a very important piece. And other than that, I mean, I would say just go for it, because you're never gonna know if you didn't try, So if you're even a bit interested, I would go for it. You can join one of our events, our promotion activities, which we'll be having soon. You can keep eye out on our social media, on our Instagram. But yeah, it's anyone who wants to give it a shot, please do. And maybe if this year doesn't work out, you can always apply next year. We've had many fellows that did that, and I would say don't be afraid to try.
Yeah, and who become the fellow will be always the fellow.
Yeah, exactly. That's. I feel like that's a really nice thing which the UIF has, right? It's once you've done it once, like you're always gonna be there. You can always reach out to. We have this massive group chat of like old 20 fellows, and it's really nice to see that, like, when we try to have like one or two barbecues a year with all of us together, and it's really nice to see, like, oh, this fellow, he was there when I wasn't even studying at the UT, but oh, this was the project he was doing, this is what he's doing now, and it's very interesting because, at least for me, I feel a lot of comfort being with them. It's also a very safe space, in my opinion. I don't feel any pressure to, again, linking to the amount of work you have to put into, right? I don't feel pressure to have to perform in a certain way, to do certain things. And it's definitely a really, really good community to join if you're able to.
That's an amazing advertisement, not gonna lie. But from what I know, you also engage in any other associations.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
elaborate a little more on that?
Yeah. So I have, on a smaller extent, I help out in a couple study associations. So in Proto, the study association for creative technology, I help out in a couple committees. And the same with Ockham, which is the honors association. I'm there in a couple committees, just helping out when I can. Sometimes it's being behind the bar, helping out. With Proto, it's more organizing sport activities and helping evaluate the course modules. And then outside of that, then I'm a board member of the Football Association of the UT, Drienerlo. And yeah, I've been a board member, I think, now for a long time. A really long time. I think. Funny story. I became a board member during my first year. Already, I think in December 2021. So I'd only been at the UT for about 3 months. And when I joined, I actually thought it was a committee. And yeah, that was a funny moment. I texted my captain like, "Hey, I would like to join the committee of doing the board." And at that time, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But now, now I'm here. I did 1 year and 3 months with my previous board. I really enjoyed it, and I felt I could still give more. So that's why I decided to continue as a board. And now, still going strong. I think this is now officially, probably 2 years and 3 months or something. So still going strong. But yeah, can't complain, to be honest. Can't complain.
Nice, and you're also a football coach, aren't you?
I provide trainings to one of our ladies team, our second ladies team. I had never actually provided trainings before, but since I got an injury that has left me on the sidelines for a long period of time, and for me, football has always been part of my life ever since I can remember. In school, always just kicking a ball or anything, just football has always been there. So I was like, even if I can't play, I want to do something related to football. Obviously, the board is a big part of it, but I was like, giving a training is also a really important piece to help the team out, to perform, to learn, and to also have fun.
Nice. Oh, and from what I know, you also engage into honors program in entrepreneurship.
Yeah. It's I took the honors program with you, of course. I think I started honors February 2022, if I'm not mistaken, and graduated last June in entrepreneurship. And I think I definitely had a great time. I think honors, obviously, it's obviously not part of the regular curriculum, not part of the standard program. But having the opportunity to actually take it, I think, was really eye-opening for me. I'd always been interested in some sort of business entrepreneurship, but I'd never actually taken any course or anything about it. So being able to actually learn about it and put it in practice was something which I really appreciated.
Nice. And what do you think about the entire program? Like, what did you get from it? Maybe also how did you apply?
Yeah. So obviously, I think the applications were during quartile 2 of my first year. In the start, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to apply. One of the big factors was the time commitment. That was something which I don't know if I want to put in that much time, but I really had this moment of reflection of like, I might as well give it a shot, you know? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If it works out, then perfect, you know? You get this new opportunity, you get to learn more and stuff. I never really did it for the ECs. I mean, to get a bachelor with honors is nice. Like, on the diploma, it looks nice, but for me, it's more of what you get out of it, right? And I feel throughout the honors program of entrepreneurship, I think I really learned about not being afraid to fail. And this I feel I've also managed to apply to different aspects of my day-to-day life, to my board, for instance, to committees and stuff. This obviously also links with the design thinking process, which I did with UIF. But yeah, I think one of the biggest things was not being afraid to fail, and also just being open to trying new and different things. One thing which I remember really fondly is the effectuation dinner we had with with Martin. I think that was it was one of the best moments I can remember at honors, and I would say maybe even like throughout my years at like my time at uni. I think that was a great evening.
But what was that?
Yeah. So it was an evening where essentially we were in the start. I don't really think any of us knew what was going on. We literally got sent to this random place around just outside the city center of Enschede, and we enter this kitchen, and then we get told, okay, everyone is going to be in different teams. We're gonna make a meal, and then all of us just made, I think in total it was probably like 5 or 6 different dishes or something. We even had drinks, we had everything, and I guess we really got to, and I remember I think the instructions, I think they were not full or something. And so you were really just forced to just get creative with the resources which you had and figure out, okay, this is what I have to make. How am I gonna get there? And I think it was a great night with great memories, and just you really got to learn about the fact that you have to be ready to try new things, get yourself out of your comfort zone, and just keep on trying, keep on persevering. And if it doesn't work out, well, this doesn't work out, but there'll always be a next time to try again.
Yes, indeed. I remember having like the vibe there was just wonderful. And also the chef, he had so much charisma in it. And I remember in some point he was like, you see this fridge there? You can drink whatever you want from there. And we're just opening, and there's like wines, beers. And I was like, okay.
There was so much. I
didn't expect it from university. You know?
That's that was a fun night, definitely.
Good. And how much additional time investments you needed to put here?
In honors?
Yes.
So obviously you had the, I guess, mandatory component, right, is 2-hour lectures, Mondays and Wednesdays.
2 hours each, or
2 hours each? Yeah. 2 hours each. So that's at least 4 hours a week of mandatory lectures, and then I would say I'd probably spend another 2 to 4 hours extra working on any assignments that were due, or later on throughout the course working on the startup which we had to do.
And what startup have you been doing?
So within the entrepreneurship program, myself with four other students, we decided to create a tutoring platform. I think actually subconsciously I did use the design thinking process in this process, which is I'm actually just thinking about it now. Like the link is actually still there, but we basically saw that the UT doesn't have a coherent form of helping students if they're struggling with their courses. Right now, the study associations, for instance, all have their separate tools to help students. So we saw that many courses, for instance, interlap with programs. So, for instance, you might have Calculus 1A, for instance, is done by most of the engineering studies, for instance. So we thought, how about creating a central platform where the tutors might be from different studies, but we can guarantee they have certain qualifications to teach a certain course. So then a student can just enter our website, our platform, and if they want to apply if they want to have a tutor, then they can just ask for a tutor, and it doesn't have to be from that study. So yeah, we did that throughout I think it was probably around a year and a half. At the end of the entrepreneurship program, we had already got it running. We already had a few successful customers, and it was already up and running, so that was good. But we decided that since a couple of them were going abroad, and some were graduating, we decided that for now we were going to put it on break. But I think, at least myself personally, if the opportunity were to show up once again and someone is willing to help me out, I think I wouldn't mind trying to launch it up again and seeing where it goes.
So it is the open invitation to all of the audience, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess if anyone is is interested, you can reach out to me, and we can definitely talk, and maybe something works out.
Good. And given everything that you've been doing, how did you manage to, combine it and balance it with your studies, on top of that with the, your life and everything?
That's a good question. that is, I get asked that question quite a bit, because also apart from this, obviously, I am, I try to be quite social in that sense. I go to quite a few parties and stuff here and there, like. So I guess people do ask me that question quite a bit. I think one of the big things for me is just making sure to have a set of priorities, right? So recognizing that if a deadline is for 2 weeks, for instance, you don't necessarily have to hand it in on the deadline day. I'm one of those people who is like, if I get the assignment, I'd rather just do it now, get it over with, and then hand it in. So then it's not an issue in the future. And I think other than that, 2 more things I would say. Firstly, just recognizing how much time something will take. I think that is something which is a hard skill to have, but knowing how much time, for instance, you're going to take to do a set of assignments can really help you organize your day and be more efficient with your day and stuff. And I guess the other one, I guess one factor is, since I don't drink alcohol or anything, I guess that's a big factor. Like that also means I can, if I go out the night before, I I also don't. I will sleep 4 or 5 hours, and then I can be up the next day, already working, and I don't need to have. I won't have a hangover. So that works to my advantage, I'd say.
Yeah, that's smart one. Smart one.
Yeah. But I think obviously time management is hard, and especially me, I recognize I do a lot, and it's really just a matter of also finding that balance, right, in life. It's you shouldn't also focus on just working the whole time. I think for me as well, that's why I like to have that social aspect into it. But for me, some of the activities I do for like work, for instance, like the committees or just ICCS, for instance, obviously it is a job, but since I enjoy doing it, sometimes it doesn't feel like a job. So you don't feel that stress, that anxiety of, oh, I have to go do this now. It feels good, like, okay, now I have to go do this. I don't feel bad. So yeah.
Great. And did you get, for example, maybe harder times when you had too much, maybe getting closer to burnout?
Yeah, I don't think, I feel like there have been some periods where I've had a higher workload, a lot of more stuff to do. I would say one of the harder periods was, I think December, January 2022 to 2023. That was one of the harder moments for me, just because outside of all that, I got an injury. I tore my ACL, and obviously that was a hard moment for me, having to deal with all of that. But I think other than that, I've not really been at a situation where I've been close to burnout. I think even at that moment, I don't think I was close to burnout. I think I was just overwhelmed with so much thing going in a certain way and just being unsure of what would happen next, right? But once I managed to clear all that, I think I just managed to relax and get a fresh start in that sense. So yeah.
So getting to the end, what is the last piece of the advice that you would give to first-year students, maybe especially doing creative technology program?
First-year students. I think being a first-year student, one of the advice that I would give is get out there and try to be active. I think at university, it's a whole experience. It's not just meant to be there for getting your degree, your diploma, and that's it. I think at university, for many people, is one of the first moments where they are truly independent and have to really get out there and see what the world has to offer. So I think one of the key things the key piece of advice would be get out there, try to be active, and just say yes to any opportunity that comes your way. It might not work out sometimes it will, but don't be afraid to just say yes, give it a shot, and just get active.
And use design thinking.
And use and use the design thinking, definitely.
Soham, thank you a lot for this amazing talk.
Yeah, thank you. It's it's a great. I've had a great time. Thank you for having me, and good luck with all the future podcasts.
Thank you.